This is the 294th episode of CloudFocus Weekly for the third week of September 2018. This episode is titled Winter 19 Time. CloudFocus Weekly is brought to you by Arkus, specializing in Salesforce implementations, consulting, and custom development. Search for Arkus, A-R-K-U-S, on the App Exchange and read what our clients have to say about us. I'm your host, and Jason Atwood, and joining me, co-host, 290 many times in a row. And I think we're going to have to go right immediately to the Just-O-Meter, because you're in one of those moods.
What? I'm smiling. I don't like how your little minions out there.
My people.
Your minions.
Most of who are related to me.
Come and tell you how I'm feeling during the recording of the show.
Yeah. Then there's other people who send me emails like, oh, yeah, he was totally grumpy on that podcast.
You know who you are. I'm pointing at the mic. You know.
Uh-huh.
Stop it.
They're not afraid.
Send it to me.
They're not afraid of you.
Send it to me. I'll take it right on the chin.
I'm saying last episode you just happened to be a little grumpy.
I wasn't grumpy. I was... Did you listen?
Yes.
I was grumpy.
Wait. Why? Can you just explain to me why I would need to listen to something that I actually lived through?
No, you gotta listen. You can't just
No, I sat here watching you be grumpy. I'm the Grumpometer. Anyway, the Just-O-Meter points to a giggly podcast. That's good. I like it. So we got some stuff to talk about. We got some purchasing. I don't even know what to say about that. We're going to get to the Mark Benioff thing. Then we have 2 Winter 19 blog posts as Winter 19 flows towards us. And then we will quickly, because we do have podcasts coming up next week that will be all about Dreamforce, we're going to do a quick one because I do want to mention one blog post that people should go see because you need to see it before Dreamforce. So then we'll make our picks. Then we'll get out of here. So first up, and I guess what I would just consider strange news of the day.
Yeah.
I don't know if this I think it was over the weekend. It hit up on one of my reading apparatus things, Flipboard, my favorite reading app, and still better than news. And then it just showed up. Mark Benioff and family personally buy Time Magazine for what I think was like $190 million. Might have been 180, might have been 190. Doesn't really matter. To which I was like, I almost thought, you know how you see those articles at the end of articles that's always like, click here to see what that celebrity's done in 10 years, and all those that are kind of spammy.
Yeah.
They're basically spammy.
They are.
And you click on them, you bounce around 16 websites, and you lose your credit score or whatever. I mean, just something happens bad.
You just lose it.
You lose it.
You don't have a
It
bad
goes to
one.
zero.
It just disappears.
It goes away, and they steal your identity. This just felt like one of those articles. I was like, this is just odd. But let me look at it and see. And then 2 days later, it popped up in another one. So it actually happened. So Time Magazine, which I guess had a valuation, what was it, a couple years ago of
Someone bought it for like $2 billion. billion, like 3 years ago or something. I don't quote me on any of that, but I read up on it, and then I saw that, and
then you stopped reading.
Yeah, I don't read. So, and then I saw that Mark and Fam has purchased it, and it's like, oh, I wonder why. Like brand.
But this is personal.
I know. That's what I mean. It's personal.
It's not about...
Was this a Jeff Bezos owns the Washington Post, I want to own a publication thing? What is this?
I don't know. It's very odd. And
Person of the Year forever.
I know.
Mark Benioff.
Or Astro.
Or Blaze.
Or MuleSoft. Muley or whatever the... Oh, don't get me
Astronomical.
Terrible. They gave it a last name.
Owly McOwlface? What was the owl? The owl. Hootie McOwlface. That's my favorite one. Hootie McOwlface. It's like Hootie and the Blowfish, but it's like Hootie and the McOwlfaces.
I don't
See, I'm in a much better mood today.
sadly, you're pissing me off. So that's like,
you're the grumpy McGrumpster.
oh, I'm not grumpy. I'm just having to deal with you, which, those
That's your name.
those other people in life that
That's your name.
text me know about that as well. So I don't know. This is very odd. And it also just feels so backwards. If you said he bought a, tech startup or bought a digital blog or a whatever, I'd be like, oh, okay, that's cool. He bought like Kickstarter. I don't know, just something. But buying Time Magazine just feels so antiquated. It feels like, man, you're buying into the last of the buggy whip manufacturers. Like, there you go. I guess you own the last magazine that ever gets produced.
Well, maybe he's got, it's a good brand, right? People know it as a brand, Time.
Yeah.
So maybe he's going to try to think through how he can transform another business model.
And that's where so this news was kind of like, who cares, stupid. But then juxtapose that news with the news of the co-CEO and kind of made me go, wait, is this like the beginning of him like going off and doing his own thing? And as a Salesforce person and who's in this universe, that did not make me feel good. That made me
sad.
Yeah, it made me sad.
Frowny face.
Yeah, grumpy cat.
Justin.
Grumpy Justin. You can't even say it. So that was my thing. It's like time and attention. I wouldn't want him off playing with Time Magazine. I'd rather have him doing more more innovative things. Magazines. Can we be done? Like, it's over. It's thanks for playing. All right, let's move on.
Thanks for playing.
Thanks for
Jeopardy.
Chopping down living trees, turning them into paper, spraying them with ink, shipping them to people so they can read them and throw them away. It's a great way of communicating. It's great.
Can we get to the really big news of the week?
I don't know what that is.
It's not on the agenda.
Well, then
I just made it up.
You made up news. Fake news.
No, alternative facts.
Okay.
Here's the thing. We're going to be recording number 295 at Dreamforce, not number 300.
Well, we're going to do like 6 episodes. So I actually was going to talk to you about this before the podcast personally, but I love just doing this on the air because it frustrates you so much. So we have some things in the works that we are working on that are podcast specific. There's some things that we've been talking about forever. There's a fun thing we're doing. There's another fun thing. And so I think as I started to work towards it, plus Dreamforce, plus the timing of the episodes was not working out, it's like, I don't know if I just want to all slam it together and try to make it. We could record 5 podcasts today if we wanted to. Not that we've ever done that before. But
Never. We would never do that ever.
We would never record 6 podcasts in a day.
That is crazy.
It's crazy
That's
talk.
crazy.
It's a weekly podcast.
You are out of your mind.
You do not record them in
You're
advance.
Nuts.
So the point is, I thought about doing that, and then the more I thought about the things I wanted to do with the 300th episode and some fun things I want to do around there, maybe some rebranding, maybe some fun other things. Maybe
can we finally be CloudFocus whenever?
And maybe another fun thing that we might produce. So then it's like, oh, why don't we not try to do it at Dreamforce, where we're going to be frustrated because we can't be in a place and we can't find it. It's going to be terrible sound. I don't know. So I think I have now a list of 5 things I want to do for the 300th episode. So I think we're going to push that out because I want them to be done correctly.
I know about none of these things.
I know, because I just came up with them today.
Oh, good.
Well, one of them you know about because I've shown it to you, but 2 of them I've been just working on the background without you.
Oh, cool. I love when that happens. I actually do. It's just like, oh, here. All right,
yeah,
cool.
well,
I'll do that.
Right. I'm not buying Time Magazine, so I have lots of extra time to do these things.
Time, get it?
Time. I got it.
You got lots of time.
I got
all the time in the world.
All the time in the world. But I do want to mention, by the way, that I did tweet this out the other day. For all you Apple Watch users, please update to the newest Apple Watch WatchOS 5, because you can now listen to podcasts on your watch. Welcome. I love how Apple... You want to get you grumpy really quick?
We took
no
something
nope.
that never worked before.
That wasn't where I was going.
And we made it the greatest thing ever.
Apple is going pro podcast, where Salesforce is going not so pro podcast.
Even though there's a lot of Salesforce podcasts,
They're trying to
and
meet up.
Salesforce makes their own, I'm doing it.
Okay.
It's not really like a meetup. It's everybody's gonna find a time to meet on their own with Melinda Smith
Yeah.
of the Two Wit podcast.
Yep.
And I guess she's just gonna record some stuff, ask a couple of questions, whatever, and then there'll be a podcast of podcasts.
That was very meta.
Very.
Let's move on. So, in the midst of, I will say, for our blog master, who's no longer you, and
It's not me.
who helps with the blog,
Hasn't
the blogging.
been in a while.
This has been a tough season because when winter and Dreamforce are colliding, which they are, and they're colliding fast, it's hard to get out enough content about Dreamforce, which we're doing a lot of Dreamforce, and about winter. So we only have 2 blog posts, I think, so far. I actually went back in our blog and I found one only about 5 weeks ago that was about summer. It was like following up on summer stuff.
Yeah.
So we have 2. We'll go over them. One by you. Yours, funny enough, which is the rapid reaction, came after Winter 19 release highlights, which is by Ryan Owens, talking about, again, some of the highlights of winter, which is, I will tell you, there are times when I'm very on it with release notes and releases, and I'm like, I read through the 500 notes, and I'm really paying attention. This is not one of those times. Mm-hmm. I was in the org the other day, and in some org, and I was like, click, click, oh, wait, it's here. And I started playing around, but I have not read the release notes. It's actually on my Dreamforce to-do list on my 7-hour flight. Mm-hmm. So I'm just as amused to read these with you as you are to read them with me.
I went to one of the webinars, I think it was yesterday. It was the platform release readiness live. So it's not really a webinar. I guess they record them, but it's live on salesforce.com. And it was interesting watching the platform one, at least. I mean, I could talk about that, or we can go through these blog posts or both.
Well, talk about it. I mean, we'll also talk about the blog post, but okay.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't really take notes, but I will tell you that they were talking about Lightning platform, and they focused a lot of time on the screen density stuff. So that's in the blog post, so we can kind of stop right there and say, all right, that's in the blog post. And you'll be able to, as an administrator, set the default to either like cozy or compact or whatever they're calling them. I think that's what they're calling them.
That is it.
And then the user themselves will be able to have their own little
I was so happy to see that because, as we know, my blog post, top 10 things keep me out of Lightning, got me lots of visibility. I got a lot of pings from a lot of different project managers saying, hey, or product owners, hey, let's talk about this, and got on the call with one of them to talk about certain things. They showed me that. Love what they did. Feel like they fumbled at the goal line, though, when they did the UI piece of it, that it should be a simple fix, but they left aligned all the data, which in Classic, it's right aligned.
Yeah, well, no, that's incorrect. In Classic, the field label is right aligned and the data is left aligned.
That's correct.
So that they're like right next to each other. Now they're both left aligned. And I've actually gotten the complaint from people, hey, can you way back in Classic days, way back in the Wayback Machine, hey, can you make it so that they're both left aligned? Because this looks weird to me, where the field names, the labels don't start in the same place. So it's hard for me to read what the labels are.
Right.
So I think that that's a personal preference of yours, and that you've been used to seeing the Salesforce UI be the way it is in Classic.
I mean, I stare at Salesforce data for the last 18 years, and I can tell you there's a reason to it. I'm a study of one. I'm not.
Well, that's what I mean. You're a study of one, but you're making universal statements like they messed up the UI.
I think they did.
In your opinion.
I think they did. Well, anything that I say is pretty much my opinion.
In your opinion.
Yes, that's why when I say it,
in your opinion, when you say it, it's your opinion only.
Yeah, when you're scanning data, it's easier to, your eyes, when they're scanning data, it's easier to have a track to go down and to be able to go back and forth and look because what you're looking for are field value pairs. I don't want to get deep in this, but like you're looking for data and value data, and you're trying to look through them. And so it's easier to do that if they're next to each other than if your eye has to flip between some amount of white space that could be a long piece of white space or a short to get back to the data. So your data has to go this way, way over and then back to see it. It doesn't make sense. The other thing I would just say is, listen, it was in Classic that way for forever. I've been on the ID Exchange forever. I've never seen that ID Exchange
I've personally gotten that feedback on more than one occasion, though. It's like, wait a minute, why is this like this? Other form tools and other form data is not like this.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know.
Fine.
I don't know. Cozy looks better. I would say Cozy looks better. Great that they're making an admin feature. Love that.
And they showed screenshots of, like, there were 3 screens that were overlaid. It was like it was the same record, but in Classic, in Lightning, I guess whatever it is, the way it is today, and the comfort, and then they showed the new one, the more dense, and it did have just as much data above the fold as Classic did, so yay. But then you can drop components on the page to expose even more data that is more rich, and they were showing how the compact layouts are getting a little upgrade and getting nicer when you drop something on like one of those record update actions that you might drop on a page where you're just looking at like one record that you're looking up to, can show more data now.
I feel like there's a lot of things that they didn't, like that one, the card view. Remember when Lightning first came out and everything was stacked in these cards and we said that's
tiles. They still have that. That's a choice.
I know, but it felt like it was one of those choices like, why do you make the hard choice and then have to reverse it? I don't know. That one didn't make sense. Great. So density settings, now an option.
Settings,
winter.
Tons of flow. Man, were they showing off flow like it was the best thing since sliced bread. I'm not a member of the Flow Hana. I am not a flow... You're
not flow literate?
I'm not flow literate, and I'm not even a flowmatic? They're flanatic?
Flowmaster?
Flownatic? Yeah, like a fanatic.
Yes.
Anyway, I'm not a part of that.
But we have developers, we write code.
But at the same time, they were showing some pretty neat stuff with Flow and how it can integrate into like snapping components on communities and can act as a Flow bot and integrated with their Einstein bots. A flot, and showing how it can integrate with like Twilio for SMS or sending out emails, doing better data validation on the front end of the Flow screens. The Flow Designer, not going to be GA, not going to make it, but they showed how like he showed one flow that had one step in it in the designer that currently exists that loads in Flash. He refreshed the screen, it had only one step in it, and he counted it off like 6 seconds to load the screen.
In Flash?
Yeah, because it was all just this Flash stuff just loading.
Right.
And then he loaded in the new Flow Builder, which I'm sure was on some souped up, org running somewhere, with tons of steps in it, and he refreshed it, and it was like instant. So that'll be nice for people's productivity when they're working within the Flow Designer, and it even looks a lot cleaner just the way it's laid out.
Why don't they take Process Builder and Flow and just marry them?
They're pretty well married. They're just one calls the other.
Two different tools to build two of the same, to do similar types of things with different designers.
Process Builder to me is more like workflow, and
Workflow is more like flow without work.
No, Flow is very intense. Like you're not building a flow for like a field update. You're not building a flow for something like that.
I honestly wouldn't even do that in a Process Builder because I can do it faster, easier in workflow, which I know they don't want us to do anymore, but that seems to be this. It's kind of like when you have documents, attachments, notes, and you have all these things, and you're like, could you guys start to combine them?
Flow has screens. Flow has inputs. Like, Process Builder is just a thing that's, when this happens, do these things.
But can get very complicated.
Yeah,
I think
sure.
they both need better troubleshooting because they're both.
Yeah, they have that too coming. Actually, I think that was part of the summer release. A little bit better handling on the error side. I think that's where admins will get in trouble with Process Builder and with Flow, because you do have to think about error handling more and all of the scenarios, and think more like a developer or an engineer would, especially with Flow, because you may leave out a case and all of a sudden you just have those really wonky errors.
Got to test. Next up was, which I think is, again, this is a nice one. We were testing this the other day because we were going back and forth. Of course, we were arguing about something. I was lamenting the fact that there was no on list views that the alphabet, quick get to
The
A's,
Rolodex,
get to
as it's called.
the Rolodex was no longer there. They are not apparently putting back the Rolodex as of yet. They're replacing it with a search, which we were going back and forth on, saying, hey, isn't search the way you want to go? I agree, search is great, but I think we had a couple examples, and I was playing with it. One example, I was like, oh, it doesn't do this, and it did. And then another example, I was like, oh, it doesn't do this, and it didn't do it. And I was like, see, this is why.
So they explained that actually on the webinar.
Yeah.
So it does tell you which fields it will not search through if you're looking at a certain list view, like opportunities they were using as an example. So it doesn't search through essentially anything that's not indexed. So pick list fields, it's not going to search through. Certain lookups it does. Date fields, I don't think it will allow you to do anything with, like search for a date field, but that isn't really useful with the Rolodex either. They did talk about at one point why search as opposed to the Rolodex, and apparently the Rolodex was really hard to maintain in multilingual orgs.
Huh, that's interesting.
So it's like really difficult to maintain that and understand what locale and language the user who's looking at it is in. They do different, that's a really hard thing to maintain.
That was the interesting thing. Actually, I didn't sign NDAs or anything, so I'll just talk about it. So it was really interesting talking to one of the Salesforce product managers about things that were missing. So, of course, I put out this blog post. So I got all this feedback, hate mail. I didn't get a hate mail. And one of the things was talking about a feature that was missing from opportunities. And I said, well, but here's this thing that, is been around for 10 years. It's highly usable. And I think the understanding that I took away when talking to the person about it, which I thought was good, it gave me a little bit more of, okay, you're just not ignoring the fact, but you're thinking through it, which was in Classic, there are tons and tons and tons of very specific pieces of functionality that only exist for certain objects and certain, like even a sub-related list off this object. And they said, well, as we redesigned Lightning from the ground up, as this new UI, we decided that we're not going to do that. We're not going to build stuff that's just for this one sub case, because we're either going to make it something that's platform that works on everything, or we're going to figure out a different way to do it. And so, the sorting on products was the thing. And I was like, but this thing is so needed. And here's why.
That idea is, I get a comment on that idea, like a notification about a new comment on that almost daily.
Right. It's not going to come because they have to do it either at the related list level or they're not doing it. So, because it's a related list, that's it. There's no, in Classic, it's a very specific thing to that. They've custom coded. It's a hack.
Oh, so they're not doing that in Lightning.
Because where else can you sort a related list?
Why don't they just
manually sort?
Why don't they just build their own component for sorting products?
That's the point. That's what they did in Classic, and they won't do that.
Why?
Because they won't. Because I just said it to you, and you disagreed with me. Now you're disagreeing with me. Because they don't want to make specialized hacks. Because it's not just.
That's not a hack.
No. It's not just for sorting the way you're thinking about it. It's not just a component to do it. It is also the capturing of that data in the background. And they don't want to get to the point of having specialized things. Again, it's either platform or it's not. So that's why.
Sorting on sorting
Bladeless.
products.
Bladeless.
Products.
Bladeless.
So are sales processes going away?
No.
Why do those exist?
Well, this is the thing. In the background, there is, and they had some hacks.
Why do support processes exist? We have record types.
yeah.
We don't need those things.
That's right, because that's not a UI thing, though. This is a UI thing. It's Lightning.
It's a little silly.
No, it made sense. Am I unhappy with it? I'm unhappy with it because we have a process that's built around it.
Lots of people do, and they're saying we're not moving because of this.
They came up with a solution that they're going to look into again.
How about just like add them in the order that you added them in, and when you add because you go through that thing and you add them in a specific order.
Is that sort number, and then we're getting deep into sorting on products. But that issue is that isn't API available. Should be API available.
Come on, API first, people.
That's right.
Talk to Adam Torman next time you design something.
Ooh, Adam Torman's a little bit on my S list. Just saying. All right, let's move on. That was
good thing he doesn't listen to this.
No, he doesn't. Well, it's not him specifically, but we were talking about. Let's talk about when we get to Dreamforce. All right. So what else? What did you come up with your instant reaction, rapid reactions?
Right,
that was after.
Did we get through?
We picked
Ryan's?
a couple. Yeah.
I don't even think we did. But anyway, whatever.
Let's pick two. So you wrote one then called Salesforce Winter 19 release rapid reaction. Great. Published a 9/6. I love that we can see the publish date now. That's awesome.
So good.
By you. Let's pick two of them. There's a bunch. It's all on blog.arkusinc.com. Why don't we pick two?
Well, we kind of talked about a bunch of these already.
Well, I think there's one that's kind of interesting.
Which one?
Oh, actually,
you talk
there's a lot
about
of
it
them.
if you think it's interesting.
Oh, I think they'll learn why your users are switching back.
Oh, that's on Ryan's.
No, it's on yours. You're looking at Ryan's.
I was looking at Ryan's. That's
you're
right.
the best.
Okay. Yes. Yeah.
Anyway.
Learn why.
We talked about
it.
the ones that was his because
Yeah.
that's the one we just did.
Right. Got it. Okay. Yeah. Learn why users are switching back. Why don't you tell them?
I think that's interesting. I had a client come to me the other day and said, "Can I get some reporting on this? Like, why are people switching back and forth?"
Yep.
It's great.
So do you know how this is going to work?
I think. Well, no, because I haven't read the release
about
notes.
this, and it was on the webinar yesterday, so I can talk a little bit. There'll be a form.
Right.
So when you switch back, whoa, why don't you knock some stuff over? Okay. Studio's intact.
It
All
is,
right.
and we're still recording, so that's good.
That's a good thing.
And the Rungo's still in the ceiling.
Excellent. That hasn't fallen yet. So when you switch from Lightning back to Classic, if this is configured, you will be asked, hey, why are you switching? And what will happen is the answer will be published to a public chatter group. And then someone will be monitoring that chatter group and will be able to either respond, or others will also be able to jump in and be like, I'm having the same problem. I worked around it
what
this way.
chatter group? In Success?
No. This is in
the
your
org.
org.
Oh, in your org. Okay.
You, the people who are listening to this podcast,
Okay.
who presumably use Salesforce, can set this up for yourself. You'll have to set up a chatter group, or it'll set it up automatically, however that works. And then whatever you pump into the form, it's just going to post to this group. And then you're going to be able to collaborate on it over there. So that's what they've done.
That was not good.
Apparently, this worked very well internally at Salesforce. So that's how they're rolling it out.
Just as a note, and I've done this a couple times. I was given this hint the other day as well, and I don't know if I'm being a naughty boy here. Naughty.
Probably.
If you want to get some feedback and you want to get it to Salesforce and have someone care about it, under the help menu in Lightning, give feedback about Salesforce, that link, they really get back to you very quickly. I've had multiple people come back to me very quickly about that. Apparently, it goes right to them. So there you go. Use that link.
Oh, cool.
I mean, I've never
it goes
seen
right
people...
to CEO at Salesforce.com.
No, that person would never respond. It goes to
Goes
people
to
who...
the owner of Time Magazine.
It goes to the co-CEO.
Is there a co-CEO at Salesforce.com?
There is.
Does that exist?
There probably is. We should send an email to
Co-hyphen
All right, anything more outside of Lightning?
No.
Okay, we'll move on.
we're
I mean,
good.
not Lightning, Winter.
I I think that they're closing some gaps. That's all.
Yeah.
I think that's a good thing, and they're adding some good stuff for administrators as well.
And the talk with the internal people is that they are really, really still focused on speed, which to me is massive.
Fast.
Speed and bugs, kids.
Speed and bugs.
Speed and bugs.
Speed and bugs, peeps.
Keep it moving.
Let's do it.
Speaking of speed and bugs, all right.
Speaking of, let's talk about Dreamforce.
Dreamforce. So the reason we're gonna be at Dreamforce, Toady Loves, Lit, and Out. And what's the other one? I don't know. I'm so hip. I'm so cool.
You have a child of age that would say words like that.
Totes.
I don't.
No. And we're gonna talk about Dreamforce there. But we just published a blog post called Arkus at Dreamforce 18, and the reason I need to talk about this is because it does have all the things. So again, by the time we podcast about Dreamforce, we'll be at Dreamforce. It'll be too late for this, so I want to bring it out now. It's up on the blog post.
blog.arkussync.com.
It's by Catherine, and it has tons and tons and tons of places to go to find us or to go to presentations. I mean, it's sort of like just a lot of fun stuff. It does call us out for being at certain places. It calls out whatever. It does say to follow us on Twitter, because when we podcast, we might announce that. So anyway, tons of places. Go read that. I'm not going to go through it because it's a little self-promotional, but if you're looking for
lots and lots and lots of stuff.
Lots and lots.
I mean, we're everywhere.
We are everywhere.
And there's stuff in here I don't even think that are necessarily covered. Like, I know lots of people are volunteering at lots of different community booths and whatnot. So you'll find Arkies everywhere.
Yes. All right. And then lastly, I want to say that was my Dreamforce, my little Dreamforce thing. And I had this moment, and I know sometimes maybe I get grumpy cat of the day. I had this moment the other day as I was doing, I know, we have a little internal competition at Arkus.
We do?
They've made it a competition.
Who's they?
Some trailblazers.
Oh yeah.
They were going back and forth about their badges, and we've had two people. We're not going to call them out, whatever. But two people have been really going back and forth to see who has the most badges. I think one now has 243. Anyway, it was just back and forth, and one went up on the other one up the other. So anyway, in Slack the other day, they were going back and forth, having fun about it, and apparently it was like, check the scoreboard, and then the other person had surpassed the first person again. So it was very funny.
Then they mic dropped, and then they took the mic and threw it out the window.
So then I went because I was looking at their profiles, on which I love, the Trailhead profile, and I was looking at their profiles, and I was like, this looks so cool, and I can see, how many they have, and I went to mine, and that's so cool, and then all of a sudden it hit me like a brick. It's like, wait, where's my Trailhead? We've heard nothing about. Is that in Winter 19 notes?
Yeah. But it's in a lot of the Dreamforce marketing materials.
My Trailhead?
My
everything?
Everything, yeah.
It just kind of got me pissed off. I had a little grumpy cat moment. I'm like, here we are, a year later. Well, not even a year, but getting up on a year. And this thing that they announced, and then re-announced at Trailhead DX, right? It was this huge Trailhead DX stuff. It was my Trailhead everywhere. And I went to the booth and I looked at it. That was 4 months ago. And I feel like here we are.
Trailhead DX was way more than 4 months.
5, 6, whatever.
In February.
The point is, I like, and we tweeted about it. So, getting, going grumpy cat on Twitter. It's like, what? They gotta stop this.
Yeah.
Can we please have a Dreamforce that they announce things that are within the year of Dreamforce?
Remember when Dreamforce used to, just like this time, coincide with release notes?
Yes.
Always. And you'd get there and they'd announce, like, next week,
right,
when Winter 08 hits your instance without you needing to do any upgrades, and we're not going to break anything, and there's no software to install and no patch Tuesday or whatever they did. It's like, go in there and turn on your conditional sharing rules, and like standing ovation, like, conditional sharing rules, if type equals this, share with them.
That's my question to you. What Dreamforce started the we'll think about this for next episode, but what Dreamforce started that path down the announcement not being like that when it was
I
the
think it was
announcement.
when they went to the mobile stuff. Do you remember when they went to the
For
mobile
next one,
stuff?
we got another podcast. Let's go on.
Yeah, but the next podcast will be at Dreamforce.
I know,
and
we
we're
can
gonna be
talk about
drinking
it.
so much Kool-Aid. We're just gonna be talking about the best thing ever that's
no, we're
not
talking
gonna
about
be released for 2
We're
years.
talking about the date. We're talking on the day of. All right, let's make our picks.
Oh, picks time. Let's do it. That was me being not grumpy.
Jeez.
All right. I'm going to pick a product called Give Lively.
Okay.
2 words, but their URL.
Oh, is this the one you were talking to me about the other day?
I talked to you about lots of things on lots of days, but potentially, yes. Give Lively is okay, cool. So Give Lively is a platform for fundraising, online fundraising specifically. Currently, they have donation pages, so create as many campaigns, multiple donation pages as you'd like. You can do peer-to-peer. You can do text to donate. So if you're at an event, you can put up a little short code, text Arkus to 12345, and you'll be able to give. Quick note on that: it's not a direct. When you're watching like a timely hurricane news, and it's like text whatever it is to the Red Cross, and it'll make a $10 donation.
Right.
So that's a deal with the like Verizon and AT&T and all them. This is a little different the way that their text to donate works, because they don't have the whole deal with their carrier. What happens is you text and then they respond immediately with a link that you click, and then it's like boom, you just donate. So it's just a quick way to get to a donation page on your mobile device. Anyway, so this is it's a really nice product. Works standalone, has an integration with Salesforce.
I've heard of this.
And it's totally free, and it will be free in perpetuity.
Oh, how can
for
they do that?
any nonprofit. They did that because they are founded by philanthropists themselves who said, how can we make an impact in this world? Well, instead of just giving a whole lot of money to a whole lot of different organizations, why don't we create a way for them to do that themselves in a very scalable way, and in a way that'll grow with them, as opposed to just giving them a one-time gift. So they've created a software company that the philanthropists cover all the operational costs of the engineering and the marketing and the what have you of rolling out this product. So doubly good. Works, integrates with Salesforce. I've seen it, done it, implemented it, the whole 9. They're great people. The folks that work at Give Lively, they're awesome. And they have it pledged on their website. You can read their pledge. This is our pledge of this will be free forever. So it's really awesome company, Give Lively. Check it out at givelively.org.
There you go. Mine is by a very awesome company. They're small, though. They're getting started.
Just a startup?
Just a startup there.
In a garage somewhere in Silicon Valley?
Yeah, 2 guys. 2 Steves. So this is for all of you who, before you head to Dreamforce, I always find that these updates come while I'm at Dreamforce. I'm always trying to update my phone.
So angry about it. Like, I'm like, should I upgrade? Should I just... the phone needs to work.
I think the computer one is coming while at Dreamforce.
Well, that's not happening for me.
I'm doing it. I'm crazy. I'm doing it.
I always wait for you to do the upgrades so that
do.
I can get the don't do it or do it.
So iOS 12 came out for you 15 billion iOS people. Lots of nice new stuff. Lots of things. But one thing that doesn't come out with the iOS 12, but is sort of only available on iOS 12. It's a little weird. They generally don't do this. I don't know why they did it this way.
Like a dot release?
No, it's an app that doesn't come out. Anyway, it's called Siri Shortcuts, and you got to download the app from the App Store.
Oh, they didn't just push it to you?
No,
they normally do that.
Remember when they pushed the U2 album? Everybody was like, "Don't ever do that again."
Yeah, but that was like that was putting
this is
content
weird.
on the device. This is like an app.
So you download the app. Siri Shortcuts allows you to. They bought a company, and that's maybe why they didn't have time to build in the OS, whatever. But they bought a company that does the automation, very much like if this then that, but has low level iOS or OS level controls where you can set up things to happen, and you put them into scenes, and then you could, or these shortcuts they call them, and then you can put these shortcuts right on your notification center or wherever you want. You can just get to them with one click, and then they do a whole bunch of things. They can text people, they can send out emails, they can get into maps, they can open up apps, they can do all sorts of things, and then application developers can enable it
API level,
so you can throw things in. So really cool. It's kind of like having Automator, which is on the
I remember
OS.
Automator.
It's still around, which I don't use.
Really? It's still there?
But I think on a phone somehow Shortcuts seems to make more sense.
Oh wow, Automator's still in this OS.
Yes, it is.
Who uses that? I wonder.
I don't know. But anyway, Siri Shortcuts. Then the thing is, you can name them, and then you can call to them from Siri, which is the thing.
Hey Siri,
run this.
Do
shortcut.
the thing.
Yeah, do this thing, and then it'll do 7 things.
It's like 18 things.
You can do as many things as you can put. So anyway, it also is $0. Tiny little company. It's
very nice.
Apple.com. Go to the App Store after iOS 12. iOS 12 is great. I haven't had any problems so far. It seems good. I like it. So, all right. Well, next week we will be in San Fran. We will be podcasting from there. If we are in a place that we can do it publicly, we will do that. We have to remember to
try our best.
Pack our mics.
Oh, I have all those.
Yeah, well,
I don't want to.
Not it. 1, 2, 3. Not it.
Not it.
No, you're definitely
Not
take
it.
one.
I'll just buy it and buy one.
Okay. All right. Well, follow us in all this normal places.
I don't want to get TSA.
That one doesn't go through TSA. That one you just got to take out. I'm just going to take it out
and just hold it.
Yeah.
Walk through the metal detector with the
try
microphone.
not to say bomb every time. Bomb to bomb, 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 bomb to bomb. I can't say bomb. All right. At Just Edelstein, at Jason Matwood, at Arkus Inc. We're on the Facebook. We're on the Success Community and Power of Us group hubs. We're in LinkedIn, Google Plus, which I still can't believe is a thing.
Why are we still on Google
We
Plus?
really, really, really like it. We like some reviews. We haven't gotten reviews in a while. Review us on iTunes, Stitcher, Google, and TuneIn. We're all those places. We're also working on getting some other networks. That'll be fun. Until next week at Dreamforce, it's Justin and Jason saying, enjoy those cloudy